Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making an impact in our community and around the globe. Celebrating 2 decades of building community through the arts of our active senior community, we have with us the Executive Director of Creative Aging, Mia Henley. This nonprofit is leading the way in place-based arts experiences, not only elevating the lives of seniors, but also fostering a thriving local arts community. So let's dive in and learn more about this incredible initiative, its history, and the vision of its passionate director, Mia. Mia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Andrew. Great to be here. Thank you. What a nice welcome.
Of course, y'all are doing incredible work. What was the driving force behind its establishment 20 years ago?
Our founder, Meryl Klein, had been studying gerontology in a master's program, and she was around older adults a lot. And what she noticed is, wow, music makes such a huge difference when they hear music, when they have live musicians come around. But there was not a practice at that time, back in 2003, of engaging older adults through the arts like there is today. And so it was really a blossoming field after 2006. So when Meryl started in 2003, no one had really thought about this. And she just did it. She just found a handful of artists and a handful of senior communities that said, okay, we'll give it a whirl, and started bringing the two groups together. And the rest is history.
I love that. My wife is a nurse, and she worked at a Alzheimer's and dementia care facility. And whenever I would come visit her, the patients would just thrive whenever they would play music or have television or bring in some sort of like fine arts exhibit that was based around a time or period that they were thriving in. And it was some people that couldn't remember their name could remember every lyric of a song that they like grew up to. And so creativity and the arts play a huge role in the aging process and how to remain young. And like you said, back in 2003, a lot of the data was non-existent, but now because of organizations like yours, you're able to really create this pivotal experience for the aging population. The statistics are staggering too on your website. There are over 135,000 people over the age of 65 in Shelby County alone. So how do these numbers translate in terms of the impact creative aging has had?
Well, last year in 2022, Andrew, we had 1,594 events, arts events. So that's a lot. We impacted seniors, individual seniors, 36,000 times. Now, some of that was the same person being impacted more than once, which is actually a really good thing. But, we're nowhere near reaching as many people as frequently as we would like to. And, the latest American Community Survey data says that we're now up to 138,372 seniors in Shelby County. And that number is supposed to increase to more like 170,000 by the end of this decade, at which point there will be more people in Shelby County over 65 than there are under 18. So, and what it looks like to be a senior, if you will, that person over 65 has really changed and will continue to change. But we're talking about a period of 30 or more years in a person's life, 65 to 95. And what do we want that to look like when we get there? I'm closer every minute. And I guess, as they say, that beats the alternative, but it's a group of people that are not all the same and cannot be considered in the same way. You would never talk about people from 0 to age 30 in the same breath as if their needs were the same. And the same is true of people from 65 to 105. And so our programs are designed to engage people at different points along the continuum of aging. So yes, if you're 100 and you live in a nursing home and you are no longer able to leave the place where you live, we will bring the music to you. We will bring the artists to you. And we do that literally, hundreds and almost thousands of times a year. But if you're a 70-year-old retired person and you're living in your own home, you're also looking for things to do and ways to remain connected to community. I mean, just think about it. I mean, you retire from work, a person retires from work, their children and family members have grown and gone. And so you're suddenly filled with pretty quiet days. We all need to continue learning, to continue being involved, continue meeting new people. And we have a wonderful program called Studio Courses. And these are our lifelong learning courses where groups of 10 to 12 people come together weekly for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks even, and learn new skills, landscape painting, how to play the dulcimer, how to do mosaics, a comparative literature course, a theater course, learn how to do Shakespeare and get up and put on a show at the end, not. And it's not high pressure. You don't have to learn all the lines. We let people read, but people build new friendships. They learn new skills, and you see a huge increase in our participants' level of confidence, because I think we forget how enriching it is to be learning all the time, which is something that happens as part of a job. It happens as you're raising your family. But when you're at the latter part of life, it's harder to access those experiences. So that's what we're all about, is bringing those experiences to people and making them a reality.
That is fantastic. And I've never wished away my life, but I'm halfway there. And now I'm like, okay, how can I get to 65 fast enough so I can be aging? Because that is so cool. And what a great way to have like different programming and experiences for the different parts of the latter years of your life, like you said, because you can't fit from 65 on into one box because they're very different experiences. Talk about logistically, you did mention some of your programming. Talk about how you select or collaborate with artists and musicians who are integral to your programs, and then talk about maybe some of those volunteer opportunities for those listening that say, I want to get involved.
Yeah. So we have over 120 artists and musicians from the greater Memphis community that we work with. And it's fantastic. They're all paid, which is a really important part of our model, because it is a model and a nonprofit that gives back, that supports the arts community. In 2022, we paid artists $320,000+. So as we're taking money in and being supported by Arts Memphis and the Tennessee Arts Commission and the National Endowment for the Arts, a big part of the reason behind that support is because they know we're supporting individual artists in our community. And it's not just musicians, it's also visual artists and other types of applied arts. And we partner with so many arts organizations like Tennessee Shakespeare, the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, Theater Memphis, Opera Memphis. And so creative aging doesn't create the art. We're not the teachers ourselves. We're the organization, the connecting organization that brings Opera Memphis to a group of seniors who want to learn how to do choral singing and opera singing, who brings seniors to Tennessee Shakespeare to learn how to do those plays and be a part of those plays. Or we have a musical theater course just about to start at Germantown Community Theater. People really love stuff like this kind of doing art. Not just watching, but we have lots of opportunities for people to watch and enjoy art too. So you can choose what you want to do. But artists, how do they connect with us? The arts community is really tight here, and a lot of artists know one another and they talk. And so, this week we're speaking with 3 or 4 new people who want to work with creative aging. And so it's really word of mouth. And I tell you, the artists get so much out of this work. And as I said, yes, they're paid and they should be paid, but the personal experience, as we get feedback from them after every event, is just overwhelmingly positive. The artists feel the appreciation that our participants give. It's just a whole nother level, and it's very meaningful to people.
That is really meaningful. And I love the fact that you are supporting local artists as well, because that is super important. And to be able to have incredible funders and partners in our area to collaborate with is really significant. And I can just imagine the type of collective impact that is created because of that. You did mention on the onset that you are celebrating your 20th anniversary, which is a huge, significant milestone. How do you envision the next chapter for creative aging? So the next 20 years, what are some goals or highlights you'd like to see? And then talk about some of the events in celebrating the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, I think that there's one word for what we want to do in the next 20 years, and that's more. We are not reaching everyone we want to reach, and so we never hear anybody say, "Oh, that's a bad creative aging. That's a bad idea," or "Oh, that's not going to work." I mean, the thing is how do we make it work at an even higher level and an even more impactful level than it is already working? And so what we want to do is just continue to push our connections out in the community. I mean, a great example of that is the Memphis Public Libraries partnership that we have. Memphis Public Libraries has 18 branches all around the city, and there's one close to you. We're in all the senior centers in the city of Memphis and in Shelby County, so outside, Arlington, Millington, Collierville, et cetera. So places like that, these are existing wonderful civic organizations, and by partnering with them, we're not paying for space, we're really efficient, we're just enriching what those locations and those institutions are already able to offer their customers. So we want to do more of that with other groups. We're really about leveraging and about using our resources as effectively and efficiently as possible. And gosh, we have so many incredible sponsors. I mean, you mentioned these funders that make our work possible. And if I can, I'd like to just thank some of them. Some of our top sponsors this year, in addition to the large grant funders like Arts Memphis and the Tennessee Arts Commission and the National Endowment for the Arts. The city and the county support us. Campbell Clinic, Federal Express, Tresvant Manor, Methodist Hospital, First Horizon Foundation, United Healthcare, individual board members that work with us, Julia San Roman at Edward Jones and Jennifer and Joe Roberts family. I mean, we could not do this work without people like that, and the many, many hundreds, maybe thousands of individuals who just give gifts of any size. It's we all like to call it around here in Memphis, the nonprofits call it the St. Jude model, but $25 at a time, we're going to raise $1 billion to do the work we want to do. And creative aging doesn't have quite $1 billion goal, but we sure would like to have more, because we can do more. And we want to, in the next 20 years, reach every corner of this city. Our older adults live in, I think, 28 zip code areas is the last count. That is a lot of Memphis, but we're not connecting with all of them. And maybe there's a handful of people out there who say, I don't want to do that, but I haven't met them yet. And I think that almost anybody has had the experience of having their spirit and their soul lifted up by music and art. And with the hundreds of different kinds of musicians and artists that work with us, there is something for everyone. And our programming is almost entirely free for seniors. We have one program that has a $5 admission ticket that's very accessible. But most everything we do is completely free. And we want to keep doing that because we don't want there to be any barriers. We don't want there to be a single solitary reason for a person to say no. We want them to say yes. We want them to engage and participate and have those benefits.
For our listeners who might have senior loved ones or neighbors, how can they introduce them to the wonderful work of creative aging?
Andrew, the best way to find out about creative aging and what we're doing is to go to our website, creativeagingmidsouth.org. You'll see a spot on there where you can sign up to be a part of our email list. We have thousands of people literally on our email list, and about once a month, we send out a communication letting people know about upcoming classes that are opening up for registration. So people could sign up for a class and participate. We also have our large events, which we have about once a month at Theater Memphis. We do those, throughout the year. We have a Swing Time Explosion coming up tomorrow. It's a 17-piece brass band. Tennessee Shakespeare will be with us in October. We have a Christmas Carol in December. The Memphis Black Arts Alliance, Black Broadway music will be in January. A Carol King musical is going to be in March. So the list, it just goes on, and people will find out when those tickets go on sale, and they're able to do that. That is the one program we charge $5 for. But people come up with $5. It's cheaper than the movies, and it's a great way to go out and be at a beautiful theater and be in community and feel really connected. So
that is so cool. And that is just like some of the multitude of programming you have. And I'm like, okay, I'm not 65, but I'm going to tell every person 65 and up that I know how incredible this organization is. What puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that you've been doing at Creative Aging and the impact that you're able to make?
Our participants give us feedback after every 6-week class series or different things like that. And the words that they offer, people tell you that a program has changed their life. A woman said to me, my husband died, and this was the first thing I did. The first, after some time went by, I convinced myself I could go to this class, and I have new friends. And I never thought at this point in my life as a 80-year-old person, I would be making new friends and opening new chapters. And so when I see encouragement and excitement and confidence because of people's experiences with us, it makes it all worthwhile.
I love that answer. I would be crying every day if I worked with you. Oh my gosh.
It's very motivating.
I can totally see that incredible work that Creative Aging is doing. Lastly, again, where can people go to learn more about Creative Aging and follow your efforts?
Yeah, go to our website, creativeagingmidsouth.org, or use that old-fashioned telephone and give us a call, 901-272-3434.
Awesome. Well, Mia, thank you so much for powering the good and coming on our show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.